What up, everybody? It's the Golf on CBS preview show. Patrick McDonald. I'm Shane Bacon. Patrick, we were just talking before we got going, recapping last week at the Memorial. Scottie Scheffler won again. I think, I don't know, was there a 5-minute span where you didn't think he was going to win? It's just it's almost hard to talk about it now, considering A, the consistency, B, the inevitability of it, and C, just the greatness of what Scottie's doing right now. I mean, all this started in 2022, and now you're talking a Hall of Fame career and multiple wins again this season and rolling into the U.S. Open with a ton of confidence and expected to likely win there as well.
Yeah, it's like Groundhog's Day. I've never seen that movie with Bill Murray, but
You haven't seen it.
I know the plot. I know the general plot where
I mean, it's a great movie. You need to see this movie.
It wakes up in every day's Groundhog's Day, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's like a really, it's like maybe his best movie. It's like an awesome movie.
Better than Lost in Translation?
I'd say on par with it. Better
than the most recent Ghostbusters? I know it is. Those remakes speaking of remakes, I know we're getting a little off topic here. Have you seen the trailers for Happy Gilmore 2?
Yeah. So much branding, dude. So much branding. That's all I noticed in the trailer.
Really tough scene for Will Zalatoris and his back injury.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
Yeah, when he's like slamming him against the ground, and then he's like, Will Zalatoris out again. You know, maybe bring an extra in for that scene, or a stunt double or something.
Yeah, not great. I'm sure that movie is going to absolutely rock, though. There's no way it's bad. As for Scottie Scheffler, though, we were talking, Josh and I, before you hopped on, and it was like, what makes it so scary for everyone else is how almost unimpressive it feels in the most complimentary way. I'm saying that, right?
I agree with that.
And you mentioned, was there a moment where Scottie Scheffler wasn't going to win this golf tournament? Maybe 5 minutes on Saturday when Ben Griffin was going berserk. And then you think about his ability to pace himself and then sprint at the correct time is ridiculous, where Griffin falters, Scheffler sprints. In 9 holes, he goes from 6 behind to 1 in front. And it's like, all right, this thing's over. So, yeah, it's like Groundhog's Day. I'll have to watch that movie, but I'm not sure I need to, Shane, since Scottie Scheffler is kind of putting it right there in front of me right now.
Hey, where are we in terms of quoting stuff you either haven't watched or don't listen to? Is that an okay thing to do? Like, is it like if you quote, there's plenty of bands like Pink Floyd or something like that I probably couldn't name one song from. But you know, you want to act like you know them because they're quote unquote cool. I think Grateful Dead would be another one for me. It's like, I don't know a single Grateful Dead song. I'm sure I've heard them before on the radio, but I don't know them. But like, I can't wear a Grateful Dead shirt, right? Or you'd be a quote unquote poser. I mean, where are we in terms of the quotation of something if you're not into it or don't watch it?
You know, you probably shouldn't, just because people are going to ask you follow-up questions. And if you asked me about what's Bill Murray's character's name, what's the secondary character's name, what's the rest of the movie about, I couldn't tell you a damn thing.
Yeah,
I think it's almost like the golf equivalent, which has been getting this topic's been hot in the streets lately, is wearing like master stuff if you didn't go, or wearing course logos where you didn't play. I know people don't like that. I buy my friends a ton of stuff whenever I go to a nice place. Like I bought the Oakmont stuff. I bought the Masters stuff. They're not the biggest golfers though, but I feel like the high level prestigious golfer type, that they hate that type of stuff.
Yeah, I bought a buddy of mine years ago a Pine Valley shirt, and he said he wore it to work, and 4 dudes went right up to him and went, "Man, Pine Valley, how was it?" And he goes, he called me and he goes, I'm the shirt's going away. Never wearing it again. Never buy me another shirt from a place unless I'm there as well, which I do understand. Now, I'm taking it a step further because, you know, I'm an enormous hat guy, obviously. I mean, I've been buying hats from golf courses for a long, long time. I almost feel like I ran into this a couple months ago. I was at a really nice golf course, and I was wearing a Cherry Hills hat, and a member goes, Cherry Hills, you live out there? And you're like, no. It's like, oh, are you a member? You're like, no. You know, and then you kind of feel a little bit like a loser. And so I think I'm only wearing golf course logo hats from public golf courses or the course I'm a member of going forward. Is that fair?
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
That's I think that's a pretty big zag
Yeah.
out of you. Yeah,
But they have become mainstream though, don't you think? It feels like the hat thing and the logo thing has become so mainstream. I mean, I cannot tell you how many rounds I play with. The dude's got the hat one course, the shirt one
Mhm.
course, the belt now one
Yeah.
course, maybe even a vest of a different course. I mean, you'll see 4 or 5 logos on certain golfers' weekends, you know.
I think honestly your attire should have just one logo throughout.
I mean, I 100% agree with this.
I don't like mixing and matching course logos on the same outfit. I think that's way too much.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. So
Yeah, there you go. There you go. This is the stuff you talk about when Scottie Scheffler wins another golf tournament by multiple shots. I mean, you kind of got to dig in your bag and figure out something else to say. Can we? I do want to ask you a Ben Griffin question though. You know, I mean, Rory got off to a hot start earlier in the season. Obviously, Scotty's now doing Scotty stuff. Where's Ben Griffin kind of on your list of best current golfers right now in professional golf?
I put him actually did a power rankings on CBSSports.com if you want to read that and get mad at me. We've opened comments on the website too, Shane, which
Oh boy,
certainly
how's
isn't
that
going to be a
going?
bad thing. Not great. I put Griffin at 10.
Okay.
He was not ranked, but you gotta factor in the wins, right? Right now, I put him ahead of Morikawa, who hasn't won in a long time. I put him ahead of Fleetwood, who hasn't won ever in the United States, and
He
I
hasn't.
think
We pick him every week.
I put him ahead of Shane Lowry, who hasn't won in the U.S. since Firestone a decade ago. Individually, of course. So winning matters, and you could give him 1.5 wins this season, and we've seen how hard winning is on the PGA Tour. So he's obviously in this moment right now. We've talked about it a lot when we've talked about the Ryder Cup, how when like an American golfer breeze, it's like, oh my God, we got to put him on the team. Keegan Bradley's got to pick him. I'm curious where his form is come like the playoffs. That's the question I have.
Yeah, I mean, is it going to continue on this trajectory, or will he inevitably, kind of like Russell Henley in the middle of the season, kind of fall off a bit after obviously some hot golf? And we'll see. I mean, it's been impressive. I mean, even late in that final round when it was over, he makes that birdie, makes the eagle. I know he kind of followed it up with some bad holes, but it's stepping up at the right time. I mean, that's the stuff I look for when you don't win. I mean, I used to do a segment on one of the shows I did earlier, and it was called Winners That Didn't Win. I mean, Ben Griffin to me was kind of a winner that didn't win this past week, like played well in contention, got to see Scottie Scheffler up close and personal. I did want to ask you this because I wrote this on Twitter on Sunday. I wrote that I feel like Scottie Scheffler is almost underrated right now. And I felt that way with Tiger when Rory was kind of at peak powers in 2014 and stuff. It felt like that as well, where we didn't quite appreciate the consistency and the greatness and how hard it is to win and how easy they make winning look. And I got a lot of people, of course, replying and saying, he only plays half the best players in the world, which is nonsense. I mean, I would say not playing Bryson, not playing Rahm. I don't know if I put Brooks there right now, but I'd say Rahm and Bryson are fair arguments, right? If those guys were playing consistent golf right now, maybe Scottie has 2 less wins. I think is probably a fair thing to say, but is it wild to say Scottie's underrated right now for what he's doing?
I don't think so at all. Everyone's just so used to it because it's been happening for 3 straight years where you expect it out of the guy. And God forbid this guy finishes T40 at the US Open, kind of like Rory McIlroy did at the PGA Championship. And people will be up in arms, running around like their brains would be like SpongeBob during a driver's test. Just fire, throwing everything out, not knowing what happened. And that's what happens since the Players' Championship, Shane, he's gone T2, 4, T8, win, T4, win. He's factored every single weekend since March in a golf tournament. That is ridiculous. And then if you obviously expand that over the last 3 years, it's every single week this guy is contending to win a golf tournament. And that is not normal. That is not normal at all. A great year for these guys would be, 5 top 10 finishes and a win, something like that along those books in 20 starts. And you look at Scheffler's 20 starts in 2024, 14 top 5s, 9 wins. So far, he has 12 starts this year, 7 top 5s. In 2023, 25 starts, 15 top 5s. In 26 starts, 11 top 5s. Like, he is top 5 for 3 years, pretty much every other week, which is ridiculous.
And you know, I say this as well, and I didn't even realize this until last week. I was looking at some of the Scottie numbers. I don't think he's missed a cut since 2022. You know, I
Is
mean,
that St. Jude?
yeah, I think it was something like late in the season. I mean, you know, and Josh, if you could, I'd love you to pull up Tiger 2000 like PGA Tour page of his record. I just want to see if there was any outlier weeks where Tiger just played poorly. I think there might have been a couple. I mean, he was top 5 and winning all the time, but you know, the thing about Scottie is it's not just the wins, right? I mean, he wins. So, you know, I wrote this on Twitter and I didn't even expand it, right? So go back to December of last year, okay? And the Hero is a small field. I mean, we're not talking about the Hero versus a PGA Tour event, but he wins the Hero last year by 6 shots, okay? And then this year he's won by 8, 5, and 4. You know, I mean, you go back to the Tour Championship at the end of last year, obviously staggered start, which has changed. He wins that by 4. Like, these are all just like monumental level victories, you know, and you think about blowout wins, the best players in the world can blow out the field occasionally, but a lot of the time it's tight. It hadn't been tight in a while. I mean, the last time Scottie had to battle for a victory was that playoff at the Travelers, you know, late last year. I mean, every single win, it's like on 16 tees won the golf tournament, you know?
Yeah, he's had a very stress-free walk down the last few holes. So I have Tiger's data golf page in front of me with them ranked by data golf points. So
Okay.
number one season is obviously 2000, 21 starts, 17 top 5s, 20 top 20s, and 9 wins. 2007 is number 2, 19 starts, 17 top 20s, 13 top 5s, 8 wins. 2006 is number 3. He has, I think he has 7 or 8 of the top 10 here, which is insane. 2006, number 3, 18 starts, 15 top 20s, 13 top 5s, 10 wins. 05, number 5. I don't know who is Scheffler's last season, number 4, maybe. 22 starts, 17 top 20s, 13 top 5s, 6 wins. Pretty much he's kind of averaging Tiger maybe 6 starts where he didn't finish inside the top 5 and 2 to 3 where he didn't finish inside the top 20.
You know, Patrick, I think last year people were I think everybody's a little scared of doing the comp, right? I think people get really fearful in golf of comparing anybody to Tiger because Tiger was so dominant and so impressive. And I think last year you saw people in the media kind of hinted it, right? This is Tiger-like, they'd say, or, you know, this reminds me of Tiger back in his prime. I'm getting closer and closer to basically saying this is the modern day Tiger with the consistency he's playing at, the ball striking, all of that stuff. I mean, it is sneaking closer and closer to it being more of a reality than maybe an idea that we want to float out there, and then we kind of rein it back because we don't want to get yelled at, you know.
Yeah, and you think about how the golf tournament kind of transpires too. It feels almost Tiger-like where he blitzes out to lead the first 3 days, and then he's able to rely on the trenches and run the ball for 7 minutes in the fourth quarter and just take everyone's will on the other side, right? It's like you can't really do anything about this. I'm just going to run it down your throat right now with fairway after fairway, green after green. And guess what? When his ball striking isn't great, which I look back to 2024, he was pretty much painting the corners with fastballs every time, just with his best stuff. I think he's scarier now, Shane. He has so many options. He has so many avenues to the winner's circle. He missed his first 4 greens in regulation on Sunday, and his league grew. Like, it's just scary how many different ways he can go through. And I think, honestly, this Memorial was really emblematic and showcased that, where each round, a different part of his game seemed to pick up the others. And he just always seems to know which lever to pull at the exact right time. And it just seems impossible for everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, it's like every club has the best player at their club, and it feels like they always play their best golf at their own club, right? I mean, I had one at Phoenix Country Club. There was a guy named Nick Beach. He was awesome. He'd always shoot 65, right? There's
Shout
a guy
out
named
Nick
Brad.
Beach.
Yeah, there's a guy named Brad Tilley at Brookline where I'm out in Connecticut. I mean, one of the best mid-ams in the country, but he's not shooting 74. You know, he's going to shoot 3 or 4 under. And the one thing that I think Scottie does in that kind of vein as a pro, and it was what Tiger did. Tiger was so good at this, was the golf courses that fit my game, I win there almost every single time. And the golf courses are Augusta National, TPC Sawgrass, Phoenix is a great one, and Muirfield Village. I mean, these are big events, and he plays incredibly well at those golf courses. And it feels like as long as the schedule goes on, he's probably going to win 5 Memorials. He's probably going to win at least another Players, maybe 2 more Players. I bet he wins at least a green jacket or 2 more, if not get to 5 and tie Tiger in that number. I mean, it's crazy to think these numbers because we just throw them out there and then you go, well, he kind of went through a lull or the game wasn't there. But to your point about the superpowers getting better, the putting's improved this year, right? I think his ball striking numbers have gone up this season compared to last year when he won all the time. We know how good he is in terms of pitching the golf ball around the green. I mean, Jack Nicklaus was not a great pitcher of the golf ball in his prime. Tiger was not a great driver of the golf ball in his prime. What's the hole in Scottie's game if he's putting well? There is none.
Yeah, there really isn't. And I think such an underrated part of Scheffler is all those high pressure chips and pitches. He always leaves himself a tap in, it seems like. It's only one pressure shot, Shane. It's not 2. It's not the chip and then the 7-footer. It's just 1. And that can just relieve you of so much pressure throughout the course of 72 holes. So we haven't even talked about his greatest superpower, too. It's all been tangible. Nothing in between the years, nothing about course management, nothing about his partnership with Teddy Scott, which is amazing. And it's just, we could talk about this guy forever. And we could also talk about this guy for 5 minutes because it just seems like we mentioned it's the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah, I'll be interested if he gets in a tight matchup late on a Sunday at a big event. Like, let's say at the U.S. Open, considering the blowout wins I talked about. And granted, I mean, there were moments on those Sundays where it was tight. I mean, you think about the PGA and Rahm kind of pushing them, and it was pretty tight until the back 9. But I'll be interested if it gets to 16, 17, and 18. Is there an uncomfortableness to Scottie Scheffler, considering he hadn't quite been there in a while? I'm going to say no. I don't think he's going to be worried about it. But I do just wonder if that could potentially throw him off a little bit. And of course, we're grasping at straws at this point to kind of throw out there's something that might be interesting with Scottie Scheffler. But I mean, Oakmont's perfect for him. If he shows up there and plays well and does what he's been doing now, I don't see how he doesn't win there, honestly. And I mean, the numbers kind of follow it up. Isn't he like minus 280 to win or minus 240 to win the U.S. Open?
Plus 240.
Sorry, plus 240. I mean, it's crazy when you look at it like that. Anything else on the Memorial?
No, that's a good point about Scheffler. If it's tight late, I mean, he had the playoff over Kim where he stuffed it in there. He had the putt on the 72nd hole against Morikawa at last year's Memorial. But outside that, he hasn't really been pushed to that limit in a while. So that is a good point. Nothing else on the Memorial, though. I will shout out to our good friend. I don't know if he knows that we're good friends. Brandel Chambly. Yeah. Someone tweeted at him, asked him what the winning score would be at the U.S. Open. And he replied, whatever Scottie Scheffler shoots.
I actually like that answer a lot. That's a great answer. That is a shout out to Brandel on that take. That's a good take. Longest day in golf a day ago, U.S. Open qualifying. One of my favorite days of the year. Used to cover it when we had it at Fox. Did it. I think I did a 1 year, 2 years back in my Golf Channel days, and it was so fun because you were literally in the studio for the entire day, following the storylines. Got an opportunity to play in it in 2019, which was wild. Did not play well.
What site?
Really either round. I think I shot 76, 77, something matching those two rounds in a row or something. But I did on the last screen. My buddy Rusty's my best friend in the world was caddying for me. It was in Dallas, and it was a par 3. It was blown like 40 in the face, and I hit it on the front of the green, pins all the way back. And he looks at me, and he's got a very country accent. He said, "Let's make this MFer." That's what he said to me as we're walking up the green, and we made it. Make like a 70-footer to end the day. Went to a Chili's, and I saw one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. There was a guy across the bar at a Chili's drinking a glass of red wine, eating a la carte corn on the cob at a Chili's. Nobody's ever done that before at a Chili's. Nobody will ever do that again. That happened to wrap up my golf's longest day. But some pretty good storylines out of it. I mean, obviously, everybody's kind of hammered home. But Max Homa carrying the bag. I don't think it was reported the caddy split really until later in the day. Is that fair?
Yeah. So Shupak has it's like an episode of Bachelor in Paradise or something. So here's everything that happened.
Okay, run us through it.
So Max Homa now has Lance Bennett on the bag. Remember Lance Bennett? He caddied for Tiger when he come back every now and again. Bennett was working with Michael Thor Bjornsson.
Okay.
Thor now has JJ Jakovic on the bag. Colin Morikawa's old caddy. And so Morikawa has Griner, who obviously left Max. So that is
just
who Bachelor in Paradise. Everyone has a rose at this point. Everyone's happy.
Yeah. Well, I wonder where they're traveling to next. Probably to Scotland here in a couple of weeks and see some beautiful castles and things like that. Maybe they'll dip over to Ireland for the Open. Any crazy storylines? I mean, the one that stood out to me was Mason Howell, the 17-year-old, shoots 63 to qualify for the U.S. Open as a 17-year-old high school kid. I mean, what are we doing? Like, this is insane how good these young players are.
And I appreciate Golf Channel did a great job covering it also. But I love how, I forget who it was, but they're asking him like some deep questions. And this is just like a 17-year-old kid who just went nuclear. And they're asking him stuff. He's like, yeah, I played some good golf. Really appreciate my family. Just like not knowing what to do. So awkward after shooting 63. The one for me was, is it James Nichols? The kid from Yale up in New York. I thought that one was really cool. He had a great interview with Brentley Romine afterwards. He's had a very, I think fun would be a nice way of putting it, a fun career so far, kind of playing everywhere. Korn Ferry Tour, over on the DP World Tour, back to Korn Ferry, kind of doing the whole thing. So he's a guy who I'm excited to see next week at Oakmont.
Yeah, it felt like typically on golf's longest day, I feel like all the PGA Tour names qualify. This felt like the outlier year. It felt like a lot of the kind of quote unquote random players, the amateurs, the KFT players, some of the mini tour players, they got through, and some of the big names. I mean, Max and Ricky are in that playoff. Neither of them get through the playoff. Max had that 3-putt on his 36th hole, or he would have got through on the number. I mean, it felt like a lot of the bigger names did not get through, and maybe some of the lesser big names got through, which was fun. I saw Andrew Landry and Daniel Summerhays were floating around for a bit, who both played well in 2016 at Oakmont. I don't know if they got through, but I know they were both kind of hanging for a bit in terms of trying to qualify, which I know would have been exciting for both of those names. But I wrote this on Twitter as well. I hate quoting myself on Twitter. It's so lame to do that. But like, this is, golf's not very pure these days. Joel Beal wrote that great book where he tried to bring purity back to golf, kind of versus what we've gone through over the last couple of years. Get Joel Beal's book, by the way. It's awesome. It's a good read. But this feels very pure. It feels very honest. It feels very exciting. You got AMs, you got teenagers, you got pros, you got Padraig Harrington. Like, this is what golf is going out there. I mean, I think that's why people attach themselves to the Max story is, this former top 10 ranked player in the world, number 5 in the world, not too long ago, was carrying his own bag for 36 holes. I mean, that's really cool, and I texted him and asked if he'd caddied since he caddied for me in a U.S. Amateur qualifier about 6 years ago. And he's like, I don't think so, man. He was like, this is a little bit longer of a walk. I was like, yeah, 2 rounds versus 1 round. I didn't have to play 2 balls in that qualifier. And he was like, dude, I haven't had a 2-ball rule in a long time. He was all fired up about it. But hoofing it yourself for 2 rounds is a lot.
Yeah, it was impressive. All-time good guy, Max moment, 3-putting his 36th hole to drop into a playoff. He probably thought he lost his chances completely, I'm sure, and just immediately is bombarded with kids asking for autographs and does so. So good guy, Max moment. I will say I'll give a shout out to my guy Brandon Barry. Unfortunately, did not get through at Woodmont, which went through a playoff. He was inside the number, but bogeyed his 17th and 18th hole to drop just out of it, which was a bummer, but would have been cool to see him play.
As we wrap this up, I want to tell you a quick story. I played a golf tournament yesterday. It's like a 1-day series they have in Connecticut. And I played with a guy. I'd never seen this before in golf. So I like to share these moments when something happens. It's maybe happened like 10 times in the history of golf. Par 3, skulls the tee shot, hits the tee marker, goes like 15 yards behind us, hits it right of the green, and then chips in for par. So the tee shot went like negative 15 yards, and he still made par on a par 3, which has got to, again, I'm saying maybe it's happened 4 or 5 times ever in golf. So that was fun to see.
You beat him?
I did beat him, but
Okay.
that was I mean, when he chipped in, I was like, dude, this is like why we play. It's like moments like that. Yeah, and Josh pointed out Ben James qualifying as well. Shout out Connecticut, dude is so good at golf.
Yeah, I think Poulter's son might be qualifying here.
Is this Luke Poulter? Is that his name, Luke Poulter?
Yeah, so there was a hanging Chad situation in Florida, unfortunately, where they delayed
that state. That didn't happen in Florida.
They delayed the qualifier. They were midway through it. I think Blades Brown was winning. And then I think Poulter, Lee Westwood just tweeted about it. He's inside the number as it stands. Gotcha.
Okay, interesting. I mean, any of those big events, if you're just outside as well, you got an opportunity to get in. And then you get to play Oakmont, which is, it's like, here's your prize. Go play this place that if you break 80, you're going to feel really good about yourself. But very excited about the U.S. Open. We're going to get to U.S. Open power rankings. There's not a lot of changes in the power rankings. I got to be honest. Not a lot of guys aren't playing golf. I mean, that's what we want is we want the guys to play. We're going to get Rory this week in Canada. We'll get to that in a little bit as well. But Justin Ray's going to come up as we dive into some stats, not just from the Memorial and look ahead in Canada, but also from the U.S. Women's Open. That was fun at Erin Hills. A good watch as well. All right. Always an honor to get to spend 5 minutes plus with our man Justin Ray, head of content at the 21st Group. Follow him on Twitter. You probably do. I mean, if you're watching the show, for goodness sakes, what are we even talking about? Jay Ray, we were trying to kind of put into perspective what the heck we should be talking about when we talk about Scottie Scheffler, because it feels like every week we do this, right? He wins and you get it on and you're like, I don't know what else to say. You have anything on Scottie that makes it a little bit more interesting after another great win at the Memorial?
Yeah, for sure. You look at what he's done in those last 3 wins. Each of them has been by 4 more shots. I think it's 4, 5, and 8 was the margins of victory in those 3 wins. If you go back the last 30 years, there's only 4 examples of a player winning 3 times or more in a season by 4+ strokes. Scottie did it in 4 weeks, 5 weeks. 2000 Tiger Woods did it 5 times because, of course, 03 Tiger, which is not a year you often associate with excellence with Tiger since he's got so many other big seasons, but he did it 3 times then. And then Scottie, each of the last 2 seasons, he did it last year as well, won 3 tournaments by 4 or more shots, and now Scottie in 2025 has done it. So the last guy not named Tiger or Scottie to win 3 or more times in a season by 4 or more shots, Davis Love III, 1992.
Huh.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah. Good point.
Patrick, that's like I would not have gone that far back for any DL3 history. It's like crazy to think that he was that good for that long. When was his last win? Like 4 years ago?
2015, I think, was his last win. But he won. Okay. Yeah. I remember because at that Wyndham Championship he won, I did not have him on my DraftKings roster, but the money that I won from that week on DraftKings, I used to buy my wife's engagement ring.
Whoa. Whoa, big spender.
Forever in our hearts, the performance of Bill Haas and Ryan Moore.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah. Okay. Couple carrots. How you doing? We got to keep on track with Scottie Scheffler. We've talked about earlier how when he wins at a golf course, it seems like it's as good as his, right? And you've got something on his defenses for us.
Yeah. So as often happens when you're trying to contextualize greatness in this sport, you turn a Scottie Scheffler or whoever it might be, Brooks Koepka, Rory McIlroy stat, and it turns into a Tiger Woods statistic that you weren't aware of. So
always,
I looked at title defenses, right? Because this is 3 now for Scottie: Phoenix, the Players, and now the Memorial Tournament. Over the last 30 years, only 2 players have more. Phil did it 5 times, and Tiger Woods successfully defended a title on the PGA Tour 23 times. 5 alone at Bay Hill. I think it was 8 different WGCs. I mean, just bonkers. Just Wilt Chamberlain early 60s type stuff. Just not real.
Yeah, it's like this box, and then there's all these other boxes. And Jay Ray, we were talking about the comps earlier in the show. We were talking about comping Scottie to Tiger and how it feels more comfortable these days to do it, considering what he's doing. When you hear stuff like that, you go, maybe not so much. Maybe we're not quite there yet. When I mean, it was the consistency, it was the wins, and it was understanding the golf courses that he played well. And you show up at Firestone, you're like, all right, dude's gonna win. Like, what do we even do?
I think it's the feel too, right? I mean, I think that Scottie right now is the biggest favorite at the U.S. Open, entering it since I think Tiger in 2009, which now you're really getting into Tiger Woods as the big separator between him and the rest of the sport. It just kind of feels that way a little bit. I think that's what a lot of us are leaning towards as well. But anytime you can put that in the context of what Tiger actually did, you're kind of reminded of like, oh, wait a second, maybe not. It's awesome. It's incredible. It's fantastic to watch. It's an unbelievable set of achievements, but let's pump the brakes on the comparisons immediately to Mr. Woods.
J. Ray, this is a bit of a curveball, but is there a person historically that you think is a better comp to what Scottie's doing? Because again, we all go to Tiger, and then we might all go to Jack, but is this more on Arnold Palmer? Is this more Phil Mickelson in his prime? Is there anybody that kind of stands out as you look at what Scottie's doing that might make more sense in this world than the guy we all kind of point to when we think about greatness in golf?
I think in order to make the great historical perfect comparison, the run's got to end, right? At some point. So when you can look back reflectively, like the first name that pops in my head is Tom Watson in maybe the late 70s, early 80s, where he was starting to week in, week out be the guy over, say, Jack Nicklaus, and kind of surpassing him as the dominant player of that era. But I think to make a really perfect comparison, it's got to stop at some point, right? I think Arnold Palmer won his last major at 32. Phil won his first at 33, 34. So it's always tough to kind of frame something historically until you know it's going to end. So right now, that's the name that pops in my head, but who knows? He's kind of carving out his own niche that doesn't have a perfect parallel, historically speaking.
Well, the dude that pushed him, at least for a little bit on Sunday at the Memorial, I don't think anybody's pushing him, but I mean, it's like when Shaq was at LSU, and it's like, we just got to foul him or he's going to score 35. Ben Griffin made a push, had an opportunity, playing great golf. What do you got on Ben Griffin?
It's like AI and the Sixers pushing those Kobe Shaq.
We won game one.
It was a great game. We got a great step over Tyronn Lue, but yeah, it's just
it was 4-1.
So what Ben almost did, and this was pretty surprising to me, because anytime you can go back and do something that hasn't been seen, and it wasn't done by Tiger Woods, it wasn't done by Jordan Spieth, quick starts to their career, it's pretty interesting. If he would have won, obviously he didn't, but if he would have won, he would have his first 3 wins on the PGA Tour. Granted, one of them was a team event at Zurich, in a 36-day span. The last player to have a gap that small between wins 1 and 3 on the PGA Tour, David Duval in 1997, when he won his first 3 tournaments in 4 weeks.
Damn. Holy cow.
It was if you remember that, Shane, I know you remember that Sports Illustrated cover where he's the irons on fire or whatever, he's blowing. I mean, it was a pretty interesting time, because that season you had Tiger winning the Masters, obviously, but then this other guy comes out and rattles off 3 out of 4 at the end of the year, and you're like, oh, okay, we could be in for something here coming up. So almost Ben Griffin didn't quite do it, but
David Duval. You know what? Maybe that's the comp. Maybe David Duval was like got in shape, and Ben Griffin picking up all this speed, doing bench presses and dead. Oh, look at that! See, this is why Josh is the best in the business. Look at Josh.
Behave yourself.
How quick is that Google search? That's like Usain Bolt level producing right there. Very, very impressive.
Looking at this image real quick, like most articles of clothing most synonymous with a golfer. Jesper flip up hat, Oakley's on Duval is high up there. Like
Payne,
obviously Tiger red on Sunday, but like the Oakley Duval, I mean, that's got to be on his statue somewhere, right?
Yeah, Josh got to put that on the list of things to do in the offseason, is the top 5 most noticeable outfits for a player. You got Ricky in the orange, things like that. That's a good idea. Thank you very much. Oh, and Josh even saying Ricky in the water bottle.
Sure.
Well,
Chalamet was kind of wearing a pair of those at the Knicks games. Okay, we got the U.S. Open next week, obviously, but we had a U.S. Open last week with House Stark winning. What you got for us and what happened at Erin Hills?
Yeah, so it's more of an overall trend comparing the women's game to the men's game. Ma Stark, 33rd in the Rolex rankings last week before she won the U.S. Women's Open. Since 2020, 12 of the 26 major winners in the LPGA, so almost half, have been ranked 30th or lower at the time of their victory. Juxtapose that to what we've seen in the men's game. 5 of the last 6 ranked in the top 3. 1, 2, or 3, and the exception is Bryson DeChambeau, and that's a whole other different conversation because he's only down in the world ranking Yeah, exactly.
Let's open that can.
Open up that can of worms. But just 5 of the last 26 major winners in the men's game, even with this divergent split tour era, have been outside the top 30. And you think about more than almost half of the winners in the women's game have been there. So it's a little bit more wide open, even with the multi-win major season of Lilia Vu a couple years ago. What Nelly, of course, is doing, it's still kind of a little more of an open window, let's say, in terms of the big events for the women's game.
So here's the follow-up. Do you think the underdog is dead in the men's game?
Well, I'll never say dead completely. I mean, I just look at what the guy we just talked about, Ben Griffin. I mean, over the last month or so, he's basically risen from pretty much obscurity and rank and file tour player to a guy who's won multiple times. It is tougher to get to the top of the game, especially when you have a figure as dominant as Scheffler. And then, obviously Rory coming off the Masters win. Bryson has been the most consistent performer in the majors the last couple of years. And Xander Schauffele is right around the corner in terms of getting his game back up to top form. So I won't call it dead, but it certainly does feel like it's more difficult for an underdog to pull himself up and win a big tournament or big major championship simply because of the depth at the top of the game.
Probably doesn't help when Jack Nicklaus names all those guys and goes, they're not in the same category as Scottie Scheffler after the win.
They're nice players.
They're good players. They're nice. They
ruffle your hair a little bit, tussle it.
You guys are cute. It's so cute when you play against Scottie. Jay Ray, the putting from Nelly on Sunday, it really killed me, man. I've gone through that before in my life where you just don't have any confidence with the putter and you're just all wishy, and they're all wishy. But the eagle putt on 14, never had a chance. Had a look at 15, never had a chance. Just waiting for one of those to go in, but nothing could go.
I'm going to turn that on its head. I'm going to take it and make it an optimistic spin. 16 strokes gained tee to green, 4 per round, an obscene number. Absolutely the best in the field, striking the bejesus out of it. Just got to get that. I mean, those greens were lightning fast. They're not going to have another putting surface. They're not going to have putting surfaces that fast the rest of the year. I have a Nelly Korda basketball jersey behind me, so I'm obviously very biased in that regard in terms of tie-ins to Team USA and everything. But I tend to look at it as the ball striking is back to where it was a year ago, and maybe she rips off a couple of wins this summer.
Close was the call, and she had an opportunity, which is what she's looking for in that particular major, which I know she hadn't played great in. Jay Ray, appreciate the time, my man. Have some fun as we get closer and closer to Oakmont. Excited for the U.S. Open.
Thanks, boys.
Okay, it is that time. Patrick, it is time to talk a little U.S. Open power rankings. I'm sure a lot has changed to top your power rankings. Wait for the last pick, number 1 on our list. Have you changed any names? Anybody moved from last week?
Oh, yeah, we've got movement.
Wow, really?
Movement.
Okay. All right, who's your number 5?
Been scanning the webs for little nuggets out there. We know how tight these majors can be. Number 5 is Rory McIlroy. I believe he was number 5 last week for what it's worth. But Shane, did you know that Rory McIlroy put his house on the market and he is moving back to the UK the week after the US Open? That's a lot to think about with the US Open on the horizon. So he's drops to 5.
Can I say, and I mean, like, been a Rory fan for a long time. Some of the decisions seem interesting. Like,
Thumbs up.
Can you not do it in the off season or something? Like, you do it in the middle of the year. Like, you could be the richest person on the planet. Moving is stressful,
Yeah, it is.
I mean, tables get dented. TVs don't make it. Like, that happens. Especially, I've never flown stuff somewhere different. But
you think he's paying like Shane Lowry with a pizza? Be like, hey man, can you help me out with this?
All right, so here's the deal.
You think he
I got
hired
a 12-pack of beer, and I'm going to order 2 pizzas. Whatever you want, though. Whatever topping you want, if you can help me move.
Shane's got the pickup. They need him.
You got the truck? I love that.
Yeah.
I got Xander at 5 on my list. Showing signs. I think he's worthy of a top 5 pick. I kind of go back to the golf course. I think it's a great fit for him. Oakmont, the way he's driving the golf ball, things like that. So Xander's 5. I got Rahm 4 on my list.
Okay. I like that. We have the same 5 players, obviously. I dropped Bryson DeChambeau to number 4.
Too much content or what?
Couple reasons. One, I'm not sure the White House lawn is a great tune-up for the U.S. Open. Looked like pretty soft greens there.
Slightly different stem, you think?
I believe that was the south lawn, not the north. I could be wrong though. Potentially the west. I'm not too good at the White House agronomy and such. And 2, he actually put together a little show at Trump's place in D.C. Got some videos sent to me. Trump was on the MC, Bryson was on the range, and He hit one wedge that I didn't like too much. So he's
Okay.
dropped to 4.
Wow,
And
critical.
yeah, I mean, just a lot going on right now. He'll probably go out and win at RTJ this week, but he's 4 right now.
All right, I got Rory 3. I think he's worthy of a middling spot. I also think, and we'll get to picks in Canada here in a bit. Feels like he always plays well in Canada, so I'm assuming if he has another great week in Canada, he'll be high on people's list going in if he's not already. So I got Rory at 3.
Okay, I put Xander at 3. It's probably too high. He had that one good round at Jack's place, but I'm just a believer. I think he's very close to being close to that 2024 self. So I put him at 3, and especially with his U.S. Open record, I think.
And you've got Rahm at 2, huh?
I put Rahm at 2. Yeah,
Interesting.
I know. Granted, I don't feel great about 2 through 5. Just don't.
At least that's not a majority of the list.
I mean, that kind of just feels like the state of golf right now. 2 through 5, great players. They're playing awesome golf. To be fair, with the level of golf we're seeing right now, Shane, it seems like if you're not in this top 5 list, with how well these guys are playing in the top guy, it's like these guys all suck at golf.
Yeah.
And so I put him at 2 just because of the driver and how well he's driving the ball. I think we've seen some Augusta comps almost with how these fairways contour, and Rahm's great at Augusta. You're never going to get a flat lie out there, and he's coming off the PGA Championship motivated. So I'm putting him at 2.
I was just thinking about this. I mean, obviously the last 2 would be a yes, but I'm wondering how many people have won at Oakmont and Augusta National, because obviously Cabrera did it in 07 and then DJ did it in 16. But you talk about the comps, and I think it's a good point that you bring up. It's like, if you play well at this type of golf course, you're going to play well at this type of golf course. I mean, I think that's why so many people have been so high on Scottie Scheffler. But I mean, obviously the last 2 have, and I mean, Tiger was right there in 07. And the rumor is he's had some success at Augusta National as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's nothing else. It's a good point that you bring up, that when you're looking at this, look at people that typically play well at fast greens with a lot of undulation, and really the one kind of tour place that you can comp to is Augusta, right? So, yeah. And then Ben Griffin's my number 1. Who's your number 1?
My number 1 is Oakmont Country Club.
It's the golf course.
Country Club is going to win the U.S. Open. It is it's Scottie Scheffler by a wide margin.
Hey, is there you brought up the Brandel winning score thing. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, but the way he's playing, the dominance he currently has in golf, and the difficulty of this golf course throughout the bag, this could be 2000 to me at Pebble Beach. Like, this could be 9-10 shots for Scottie if the game's there. I mean, it's just, he drives it so well, iron play obviously, and then when he's missing greens, and you brought it up earlier, the pitch shots get to a couple of feet, and the putter's been hot this year. But this feels like a real opportunity to separate yourself at a U.S. Open unlike anybody in 25 years.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. The only pushback I would have is, it's still golf. There could be some sort of wave advantage for all we know. Pittsburgh weather can get kind of funky in the summer. When I played there, we had thunderstorms, we had hail, we had 35-mile-per-hour winds, and we had sunny and calm all within 3.5 hours. So that something like that could always happen. And there are certainly some variables like the church pews and some of the what are they called? Gullies? Would that be the correct term? Those
Maybe.
I've
I've been in them.
The you know what I'm talking about there.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So
Brutal.
those added variable. Yeah. So that'd be the only pushback, but I could definitely see something where there's one guy under par by the end of the week, and his name's Scottie Scheffler.
Yeah. It would be shocking if he doesn't win here, to be fair, the way he's playing and the form he's in. And we didn't bring this up earlier, but last year the form kind of fell off, quote unquote, fell off around this time. And it seems like he's just like peaking at the perfect time for these major championships, obviously winning the PGA and then rolling all that and the momentum into the US Open and beyond. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, again, only one who hasn't played Oakmont here is tough. That's Josh, our producer, saying, and yeah, he knows it's hard as well, which is a very important take to be had. The golf course is in fact difficult. Speaking of golf courses that are difficult, how much do you know about TPC Toronto? or Toronto, as they say?
Well, it is the North Course. There are 3 courses on the property, Shane. This is
Which direction got left out?
I actually think there's only one direction, and it's north, and the other 2 have fun names, different names out there. I'd have to double check that. But TPC Toronto at Osprey Valley, I believe.
Okay.
It's built on an old gravel pit. They had a wet spring there in Canada. The rough is almost 4 inches, which is pretty similar to last week at Muirfield Village, mind you. The 3rd least bunkers on the PGA Tour, only 38, I believe. But outside that, pretty average TPC course. I think the finish is going to be fun. 15, they might move up and make drive bowl. 14, you have a short par 3. 18 is the par 5 finisher, and then 2 difficult par 4s. But that's all I got, which
pretty good.
Honestly, I'm proud of myself for all that.
I mean, I'm really impressed. I mean, that was a ton of information. I don't know what you're reading, but I'm impressed by the research you did. When you look at who can win and can't win, hard to look at the golf course, obviously, since we haven't ever seen anybody in the field really play this place. But you look at the field, I'd say it's a good field. It's not a great field.
Yeah.
It's a good, solid field. Week before a major championship. Obviously, Rory is back, which will be interesting to see. I got a take on Rory, by the way. He's on my can win list, by the way. Shocking. I'm sure he is as well. It feels like he always plays well in Canada. I think Rory, after the Masters, had to reset some of the goals. And I think his goal now, haven't heard him say this or whatever, but I think he's kind of on the Lee Trevino, Tiger in 2000 run. How many national opens can I win this season? So he's got Canada. He's got U.S. Open. He's playing Australia. Is he playing New Zealand as well? I know he's playing. I know he's playing Australia. I'm assuming he's playing Irish.
He's playing in India too at some point,
and Scottish. So like maybe the list is like, can I win 5 or 6 national opens in the same season? It's got to start here, but I think he's going to be locked in to try to tick off 3 or 4 this season.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I mean he's been very vocal about how much the national opens mean to him. Rory he's not on either the can or can't win list for me, Shane. My can wins this week are going to be a little bit out there. Cameron Young, he's already a winner this week, obviously qualifying into the U.S. Open. He's one of those.
Why are you guys obsessed with Cameron Young? I don't get it. What's the obsession here?
Shane, you just know Scottie Scheffler was watching Golf Channel last night, the longest day in golf, and he's like, I do not want to see this guy at Oakmont. He was rooting on Ricky.
Let him off. Do not
rooting
get him
on
in the
Homa.
field.
It's like the hot wild card team. You just don't want to see them in the first round. That's Cameron Young. He's going to parlay that into victory.
He's the Pacers. Is that what you're telling me?
He's the Pacers. Yeah. He is the Pacers. Ryan Fox, he's winning another tournament. Ball striking has been great.
All right.
I think you got to drive it well. He's been doing that. And then my Japanese brother, Ryo Hisasune.
Okay.
I definitely did not butcher that last name.
No, that was pretty good. Hisasune is correct.
Ryo-san, he kind of got frisky there at the PGA Championship.
Sure did. He was right there.
Played well at Colonial the following week. So those are my 3 winners. A little out there this week.
Yeah, I got Rory on there. I got Sam Burns. Has played solid since Augusta. 4 or 5 top 20s. Finished T12 last week at the Memorial. And I got Alex Smalley on my can win list. Just missed out. Just missed out. Missed out, I think, on the number. Had a real good chance to get him. But I like Alex Smalley this week as well. My can't win. You know how we keep putting Tommy Fleetwood on the can win, or we pick him to win, and he never does. I keep putting this guy on the can't win list, and it's going well. Ludwig. I've got him on my can't win list. He's really not played well since he won a Torrey outside of the Masters. Kind of backdoor to top 20 last week at the Memorial. Shot 66 on Sunday, which some would say could be a sign of somebody finding form. I'm not that somebody. I don't think he's going to win this week. He's on my can't win list. I got Shane Lowry as well. Got to help Rory move. I don't think his mind's on it.
Yeah.
And then Sung Jae, one of the favorites. And again, I try to look at the favorites and pick the can't win list here. Sung Jae's been playing better golf, but I don't see him victorious this week.
Yeah. That's a great call about Shane. I didn't even factor that into my models, but he is now on my can't win just with
back brace.
Yeah,
gotta move. That stinks. I mean,
it's a physical toll Physical
You
toll.
think it's on your mind. You're thinking about a couple weeks, man. I got to, how much, what's the door like? We have to take the door off, to get the stuff out of the house.
Yeah, take the
how many
little things off the bottom of the couch too, just to fit it in.
The pegs. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
terrible. Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough for him. So Shane Lowry's not gonna win. Corey Connors not gonna win. Sorry, pal. Is a Canadian gonna win the National Open twice in 3 years? No, not happening. Maybe. And then, gosh, Ludwig. Yeah, Ludwig's like the guy. I can't be doing that to him though. I'm gonna say Taylor Pendrith is not going to win. I just
Shots fired at Canada.
Yeah, that's tough. And I spent a lot of time in Canada last year. For some reason, I was there like 3 or 4 times. I don't know why. So I love the people in the Great White
or hanging
North.
out or what?
A little bit of both, honestly.
Okay.
Kind
All right.
of just went to the Niagara Falls.
Yep.
I was up there and I was like, I don't want to be on the Buffalo side. Went to the Canada side.
Get my passport out. Let's go.
The guy at the border was like, what are you actually doing in Canada? I'm like, dude, I'm going to Niagara Falls, solo dolo trip. I was like, I'm going by myself. He's like, this just reeks of something right now.
When I lived in Scotland out of college, I was dating a girl that was in New York, and I flew on a weekend trip to see her and didn't check a bag. And I remember when I was like checking in on the flight, they're like, wait, you're not checking a bag? And I was like, no, I'm just going to carry on. And they did not like that. They were not fans of that move at all.
Yeah, you were definitely starred on some watch list. That's a good point
by Josh. Eye on me.
By Josh in the chat. None of them were for the President's Cup, by the way. But I was in Montreal at some point also. So my can't wins are Corey Connors, Taylor Pendrith, and screw it, just put Mackenzie Hughes and Nick Taylor on there also.
Yeah. Anybody else? Any other Canadians we can throw on there as well? Wayne, anybody like that? I got Sam Burns winning. I got Alex Smalley as my sleeper, kind of keeping it in the family there in terms of my can't win. Who's winning this week for you, Patrick?
My winner, he's going back to back like Jordan, 96, 97. Bobby McIntyre. Okay. He's just gotta take care of the CBS drones that kind of got in his head last year.
Get out of my face, guys.
Get out of his way. If he was American, that wouldn't be happening. And then Cameron Young is my sleeper.
Oh gosh. Is he a sleeper? Is he like top 10 favorite?
Dude, he's like, I'm seeing a 70-1 on Cameron Young.
Oh, all right. That actually is pretty good value.
We're value hounds here.
If you're a golf nut, by the way, Corn Ferry back on your televisions this week as well. I'll be hosting that, so that's always fun. Get a chance to look at some of those things. I think Neil Shipley's in our window on Thursday, which nice. Is a fun dude to kind of follow and watch play. And then, of course, you got RBC Canadian Open on CBS over the weekend. That's that. That's the show. Shout out Jay Ray. Appreciate his time. Patrick, thank you so much. I hope the Canadians don't come for you. And a shout out to the dude that made the par that hit it backwards. Was not Jordan Spieth, by the way, but he was very good on that particular hole. We'll be back next week. U.S. Open week next week, so it should be fun.